Hi guys. Okay, how is the everything now? Before we had a real problem with buffering. Is it seem to have is the streaming okay now? Let me know. Any buffering, anything? Hey Gary, good morning. Is Gary, is everything clear and the sound good and the video okay? Because when I tried it at 8 o'clock, it was things didn't work out so well. Oh, hope everybody had a good Christmas or whatever you have. Hi, William. Everything looks fine. Great. Hi, Junior. Good. I'm back too. John, hi. Houston, we have contact. Yeah. Feel like I'm out of space. Hi, Tom. Thomas. Oh, good. All right. Well, we had a trouble getting. We had a buffering problem before. I hope it's okay now. Hi, Adolfo. How are you? Buenos dias. Buenos dias to you, see. Hi, Andrew. Kids kept me busy yesterday. Yeah, that happens on Christmas. Yeah, we had our grandkids. We weren't able to have them or go see them, but we saw them on. We had a excuse me. We had a FaceTime meeting with them, so everything worked out. Well, listen. Let me sort of continue. I mean, why we have before things get buffer goofy or anything like that. Let me sort of start over again with what I was hoping to talk about today. One of the things is the setting for putting together a watch check. Okay, yeah, this is my oh boy, this is my Van Cleef and Arpels RDC et del Ia. Okay, so that's my watch. All right, basically it's a dual time. Let me see if you can see it any better up here. This is the dual time watch with a movement by Agenhor. All right, okay. So anyway, so let's talk about a couple things. One, on Christmas Eve, I mentioned this before. This is my movement, and I put it into a little vise. This is a vise for your movement. They have them for your for cases as well. And this is a little cushion right here that I put this on when I'm working on it. And also I have here, that was I was trying to show before everything froze up, is a little thing here that's got, these I got from Amazon. They're a couple bucks, but they are really handy because when you're working on something, you don't want to have to stop and put everything, back in the drawers or wherever you keep it. But rather what you can do, you've got it right there, and you just put this on and that'll keep all the dust and everything off. So you want to have a nice, clean environment. And I think when you're doing some close work, that's when you're going to need the finger cots. But for just sort of grabbing stuff while you're working on it, maybe the case and a few other things, a pair of gloves is probably easier to deal with. And so I can look at this and show it off and everything, but I have my gloves on. I've been pretty careless with that. And that's because the movements up until now have been ones that I've broken and they're not coming back. And so I can handle, one of these that I busted without gloves and so forth and not worry about it. But they're really good you never want to throw away a broken movement because two things. One, you might be able to fix it. But also, too, if you need spare parts, sometimes that'll happen. So anyhow, that's one of the things. And the rest of the setting, I'm going to have a little vest pocket video and talk about how to set up sort of a workplace, and so you can work with with ease. Really, that's one of the things, and you don't have to rush. You don't want to rush a project. Hi, David. Happy Boxing Day to you too. Steve, how are you, Steve, from Alabama? How are things in Alabama? It seems that every storm that goes through Alabama, it works way up here to New England. So I don't know. We had a wet, rainy Christmas day, and forget Bing Crosby and his White Christmas. We had over a foot of snow, and that rain came and warmed everything up and melted it all. If you have to shovel snow and have to deal with walking on ice and snow, you'd be glad when it's all gone. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing, man? Derek, again, hi, guys. Sorry about the buffering. I hope that doesn't happen again. Hi, Hobby. Thanks, Hobby, for your patience, and you too, Mr. Gumby. So anyway, so that was one of the things I wanted to sort of kick around. Let me ask you this. If you just raise your hand so I'll count from here. How many of you have got your movement and your dial and your case? Like I said, I had ordered mine when we first talked about this, and I got them from Switzerland. They arrived on Christmas Eve. Like it was some big fat guy with a beard came in and said, "Here you go." So anyway, cold 58 degrees here in Florida Keys. I'm reading a Carl Hyacin book set in Key West, William. I know all about the Florida Keys. I used to teach at the University of Hartford up in University of Florida up in Gainesville. So and when I was very, very young, I lived in Florida too. So back way long time ago. Okay. Okie doke. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Glad to see you guys all. They've come back. Okay, good. You got your Gary. You got all your things. Paul, hey Paul, how you doing? Gary, tell me what exact parts did you get? I'll tell you I'll get mine out here and talk a little about them. But Gary, what elements did you get for your thing? Here, right here. This is the case. It's sort of one of these little thin sandwich cases. It's a great case. And this is what my case came in. This right here is, wait a minute, am I moving on my case? Yeah. And my movement was in was in like a box or something, and it had this, one of these little plastic things. Let me get it open. I want to talk about that too. Wayne Stinnett does some books on Florida Keys as well. Cool. You ever read Carl Hyacin? Hey, John, inserts. Okay. How do I get this thing open? Here we go. Yeah. Okay. If you don't have a little vise for your movement, be sure to try to keep it in. They come in these little plastic boxes like this. And what you can do is, I'll put this back in here later, but what you can do is you can take this with the movement in it, wind it up, put it in a time grapher, and see how well it's doing. Okay. Anyway, this is another thing you can handle it in. And the thing I like about this is that it's also very protective. The one they sent me has a special little clamp in it. Now, the case itself that I got, I'm going to leave it in the plastic wrap for now, but I want to just to give you an idea of how big it is. And here's another one, so you can tell by comparison. This one was for $64.98, and this one is for ETA 2892 A2. This is for the 2982. This is for the 6497.98. So you want to be sure to have the right size. And then on the inside, you can see that ring, and the ring is, I believe, a locking ring. And what that means is that you can put the movement in here, get everything all fixed up for it, get the dial on and so forth. And then what you do, you just put it in there, then you put the locking ring on there. The thing that I like about that is that the screws come with these little, well, I don't know what they're called. They're little sort of like little tabs. And you put the screw through and then you put the tab on, and the tab is supposed to hold the movement to the side of the case. And those things go flying all over the place. I lost so many of them. I got an entire box of about 100 with the little screws and little tabs in there. So if one goes flying, I'll just go looking for it somewhere. That's where Somewhere Over the Rainbow came from. That's where all lost watch parts go. It's over the rainbow. Okay, now the other thing I got here, and again, let me emphasize, you don't want to get all of the body oils and everything all over this stuff. So when you handle it in a case or in a vise or something, until you get it done. And let's see. So this guy I can take out of here and put in here. Now, it's important that you take your time and do it right. That's one of the things. I'm terribly impatient with so much stuff. I just want to get stuff done, and I've got to learn to slow down. And so one of the things I found out that in working on a movement, it takes a great deal of concentration because you're dealing with these little bitty screws. You have to have the right screwdriver. You got to eyepiece up, and you have to have really full concentration to do it right. And that can take a lot of energy. I know it sounds funny, but I mean, you go and you lift weights and so forth. That's one thing. But you go and you do this stuff. To me, it's exhausting. And so take a little at a time. And so when as soon as you let me get this thing picked up here. As soon as you do one thing, just one thing, put this back on, you put it aside, and then you work on it again later. Some people want to do it all at once, and you can, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you're careful, it's the big thing about it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, wait. I get a kick out of his stuff. Back when I was in Florida. Hi, Yoas. How you doing, man? It's evening. Good grief. Where do you live where it's evening time? It's only a little after 9 o'clock in the morning here. Hi, Aurora the Tiger. How you doing? Sorry you're late. I tell you, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you are late, because when we started it at 8, we ran into a big buffering problem. Okay, I'm going to see if I can sort of show everybody the dial that I got. And you have to be very, very careful with that. This one came with what are called dial dots, those little things on a piece of paper. Essentially, they're like cheater things on it. And this guy, this also came with the hands. The hands are incredibly small. They come in these little, or they should come in something so you don't lose them, because these things, they will go hide in a rug, or they'll hide somewhere on my desk there. You'd have to send a search party for them. Now, the dial itself, my only concern with it is, oh geez, I have a smaller knife, but I'm going to use this one to cut through here very carefully. Okay, I got that done. Okay. All right, now the dial is in here, and they taped it up pretty good. course, what you want is for shipping. You don't want to come with a bent dial. Okay, here's the dial, and I'm going to put it on here. Now, see how it's rocking? I don't know if you can see that. Dials have these little things called feet, and the feet go into these, I guess, I don't know what you call them, foot holders that the movement has, and you put the dial on, and you align the feet with the holes, and then once you have that done, then you have a little screw and you turn it, and it sort of locks them in place. Now this one has very small dial feet. It's still enough that you can see it rocking. It's rocking on the feet. But the person who sold it said, well, I'm not sure if they're long enough. And so that's what he gave me, these little, what are called dial dots. And what the dial dots do, they're two-sided adhesive, essentially. And so you can just put those on the back of them and put it down, and that'll hold it in place. But so it's very hard to hold on to and show at the same time. But this is the dial. Now notice this is at, see, yeah, this is probably seen backwards, but this is 3 o'clock. See a little black square? What that is where the date shows up. Now the date is on a, I have to get that, there's they come with a date wheel on the back of them. And the date wheel, you can put that, really, as long as you have the distance from the center correct, you can put it anywhere you want to on the dial. But since, the standard places are 3, 6, and 9, is usually where you find them. The ones I like, they put at 4:30, but you just have to make your own dial hole, if you like, for that. So, that's where we are on that part. Okie doke, let's see what you got going here. Oh, okay. What are your thoughts on predictions for the watch industry in 2021? I don't know. The 2021. Okay, here are my predictions. All right. For a long time, before I retired, I was doing a lot of work in the early development of the internet and some of the stuff that they were doing. And we were always, at some point, I always wondered why everybody, why all of them didn't take on a model like Amazon. You order it online. You're not paying a bricks and mortar price for everything. And so, that I think you're going to see a heck of a lot more of. I think they're going to want to develop their online presence for a lot of reasons. First of all, during the pandemic, when everything was shut down, people got used to buying a watch if they wanted one online. That because I never had a problem with online purchases, but so I always bought online, never thought twice about it. Here's the thing, though. I come from a little different background because we spent a lot of time developing different kinds of software and this and that for online. And so I was pretty familiar with what was going on. And like I said, it in terms of, I do like to handle a watch before I buy it, but usually I can't. I mean, during the pandemic, I absolutely can't. This watch right here, to me, is my favorite watch. And I'd never seen it before. The only Van Cleef & Arpels is in New York City. And I'd been there in, I think, March. I was there right before everything was shut down and all of us had to go, establish this hiding that we had, so to speak. So my prediction for 2021, I think that, there a lot of watch companies that say, look, guys, we got to do more with online, or we're not going to sell anything. And so, and I think this is going to be an interesting thing to see what happens. The whole AD system that Rolex has built up, my guess is probably it would stay in place. That would be my hunch on it. But you see more and more companies. You go to their main website and they have the name of the dealers and this and that. But if you live in Squash Dog, Mississippi, or someplace like that where they don't have a lot of nearby dealers, what are you going to do? You either get it online, you don't get it at all. So and then I think after this situation, I also have noticed, it's sort of interesting, is that more and more of these sites that I go to, there'll be a little live thing that comes up and says, "Hi, can I help you? My name is, whatever," and you can type stuff in and say, "Yeah, I'm looking for a Quadrille or this or that or whatever you're looking for. And could you tell me, do you have them in, brass or bronze or something like that?" And then they can, go back and forth. And so, that's pretty much it. That would be my, that's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Are the feet too long? I've never had any that were too long. Most of them there's a pretty standard length that will go into a movement of a certain width. This one, I would imagine on something like this, it'd be very short because it's such a thin watch. On other ones that are thicker, they might be longer. So I'm not sure about that. Okay, maybe equal, Andrew. Okay, where are we? Will independents spend actual money on digital solutions or even apps? Yeah, see, the thing is people who develop apps, I mean, like if I put together, let's say I put a mobile app together for, I don't know, Bill's watches, okay, something like that. And so if I built that app, it wouldn't be very hard simply to change, it was for, change it from Piaget to Jaeger-LeCoultre. It doesn't matter. I mean, once you got the app in there, it's sort of like you have a template for it. You can put those out. And so as a result, independence, it would be much more economical. The problem that independents and most other watchmakers, with a few exceptions, they got terrible websites. Their websites are awful. And the reason, awful from an entrepreneurial position or a sales position, because you go there and they go into this this long load. They got these heavy graphics. And, you don't want heavy graphics. You want information. So, you can bring up a decent size JPEG or some other lightweight and still do it, really nicely and show you different angles of it and give you information about what's there. That doesn't take up much bandwidth. On the other hand, if you're going to have these, what they like is this. It's sort of like telling the same joke again and again. First time it's funny or interesting, after that it's not. And this is a lesson I think that watch company websites have to learn. Two lessons. One, there's a back arrow. You're taking too long in and bam, they're going to hit the back arrow. This isn't like you go all the way into town and somebody goes in the back room to find your watch and you'll wait for a long time for them. This isn't true with a web net. The other thing is that for a developer, certain developers, they love to have, to show off their skills by having all of these things. They fade in and they fade out. And, that's like the joke. That's the first time. It's sort of interesting. After that, it's just like a long load. So I think if they get a lot smarter on that, they'll be a lot better off. Hi, Cosmolis. Just checking in. Can't hang with you today. Lots of food and catching up with family to be done. Hope you had a good one. Very much, Cosmolis. Thanks for dropping by. Hi, Jeannie. How are you? Christmas, wishing you the best. Thank you very much. Stay safe, enjoying your life and others' videos. Yes, I do. Hey, John, what's up? Let me see. Some cases oversized have insets for the movement, which usually come with the case. Yes, you're right. I think, this is one of the things. A lot of the cases, these great big cases, like, you get a 44 millimeter case and they'll have a lot of inserts, or at least one that'll hold it in there for you. I try to get one as close as possible to the size of the watch. This is why the one I got was 40 millimeters. Now, they had one for 39, and I could have got that. And but I'm trying to think, where was it? I forgot why I didn't. It was a German company. This one I got because the same Swiss company that sold me the movement also was selling this, so I got them both from the same one. Then there's only one shipping charge, save a few bucks. The other one's 39 millimeter, which would have been nice too, but 40 millimeters is sort of the size I like, so I got that with that. You get these great big ones. They're wide and they're fat. I think, let me see here. Yeah. See, this is what your typical case is from as a Chinese case. They're very nice. I mean, they're nice cases, but they're big and they tend to be pretty hefty. Now, you have your movement, your dial, your hands, and everything that you're putting in there. You can use something like this and it'll work perfectly well. I just wanted to try something a little smaller. This is the first time that I've worked with, this one has two features. First of all, three features that I haven't worked with before. All the other watches I've made up to now have small seconds, except for the first one I made. The first one I made just had hours and minutes because I cut off the stem for the small seconds because I just wanted, and then I had an enamel dial for it. Really was a neat watch. Gave it to a friend. But the thing is, this is the first time I've worked. It's automatic, which means it's stacked a little thicker. The 2892 and the 28, I think it's called the 24. The 24 is smaller but fatter, something like that. And so it turns out that the ETA 2892 A2 was one of the favorite of a lot of really good developers. And so we can get, I think, a really decent movement for, not too much. I mean, nowhere near the cheapest watch you can build with one in it. I got the A2 because it's simply a Seiko 4L that was made by a Swiss company, Sopra, to fit in the same dimensions as the 2892, and it's got a really good reputation. So I thought I'd give it a try. Okay, let's see what you guys are up to. I have, let's see. Okay, you're right. See, Andrew, let's see. I have all the ideas about a common app to track your warranty service and get more immersed experience with the brands. I know how to build these, but that requires actual investment. Yeah. I tell you, all you need really is some money to start a watch company. And I think you can start a really good one, especially if you're like me and don't care about making money. If I had the money, I know exactly what I'd get. And, but you're talking about, at least what I have in mind, something around $100,000 and or 100,000 Swiss francs to get everything you want just the way you want it, and make a watch that is really a good watch. So I think that'd be sort of fun. The Eckler case Bill showed us originally has the insert, means the dial and movement once together has to be mounted from the front of the case, something like that. One thing is sure, even this is from Roar of the Tiger. I can see that patience is essential, but like for a master chef, exact preparation is needed. Yeah, I'm gonna have a video on that, Roar of the Tiger. You're absolutely right. If you get things prepared right, everything goes much better. You need the right lights, the right. This is, by the way, too. I don't know. I've got a couple of these things. They look like they're lights that have open up, and this is a light and a magnifier. You turn it on, and kabingo. They are really good. You know, another thing that I found really helpful is a beanie. If I wear my beret, the light gets in the way of my hat, and so it covers up what I'm working on. And so I found out that if I wore a beanie, it's a lot easier. And I also have a second sort of magnifying lamp over here. So I have two of them clamped on my desk, and then I put them right over my workbench right here. And you know, it's really, lighting is important too. The reason that I think lighting is important is that the parts are so small. With larger parts, and especially, you know, something like the reason I like ETA 6497s, they had bigger parts, but this one has much smaller parts. So it's hard to experience luxury through online purchase. Joash, you're right. I'm you know, when I got my Vacheron Constantin Historique America in 1921, I mean, that's a really nice luxury watch, but I'd never ever had it on before. I don't even know if I'd seen it in person or not. I don't know. That's a hard one, Joas, but I think if you have a good, clear picture, okay, rather than, you don't need these dancing baloney. That's the worst thing. I think still pictures, they like to have videos, and they have the thing going around. Videos take time, and they take bandwidth. And if you just have like a really clear picture of the front, the back, the side, the top, and different angles and so forth, and a wrist shot, and all of these, having some of those goes a long way, as opposed to have one of these dreamy kind of things with, like I said, dancing baloney all over the place. The insert in this case is metal, and there's no way it slides in and out. Press fit or glued in. I am not sure. Got to call the Ickler just to make sure. Hey, thanks, Gary. I don't know if this is from Ickler or not, to tell you the truth. I was looking at the one from Ickler, but the Ickler one, I think, was 39 millimeters. This one is, I don't think it's Ickler. It was from the same guy who had the 2890, the Soprod A2 that I got, A10. Okay, so look, guys, my time is up. I'm glad everything worked out. We didn't have a buffering problem. Thank you for your patience. I got one of those glass faces, and so, and I have all my masks, and I have my glass face too. So that's, use those things. All we got to do is wait until we can get our vaccines, and they'll be safe. But man, before that, I'm wearing a mask. And be careful. Take care, and I'll be back at 4 o'clock today. Thanks again for your patience.